Hey, I'm Dave and this is my version 7 WRX STI.
So it's a 2006?
2001.
2001, far out. I thought
man.
it was way newer than that.
Yeah.
Far out. So 2001 WRX STI.
Yep.
So that's the EJ20.
Yep, EJ207.
Okay, excellent.
Yep.
And you've had the motor replaced since you bought it?
Yeah, I had it. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yep. Did you rebuild the motor you replaced it with, or just get another motor?
No, we got a second-hand rebuilt motor.
Oh, excellent.
And just put all the other bits back onto it from the old original motor. The other things actually that were missing that I had to get as well were the turbo. But I couldn't source the original turbo for this year, which was the VF31. Instead, I managed to find a VF39, and we got that plugged in as well as a brand new clutch.
Am I right? The 39 is slightly smaller and it's more efficient. Is that one?
It's actually, when I looked at all the stats, everything about them are the same.
Yes.
What it said is that the 39 was better at high rev range. Okay. And the 31's better at low rev range.
Okay, so the opposite to what I thought. So
Yeah.
effectively it's got a bit more power rather than the torque to get up there.
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
It probably has a bigger exhaust wheel or something
Possibly,
like that.
yeah. But it didn't work 100% when I got it back from the mechanic. You see, it ran, everything worked, like the car ran, but it was only running base wastegate pressure, 8 psi.
Yes.
So I had to do a lot of research into what I could do to get it to run properly. So she goes real good now, eh, bro?
Yeah, it does. It goes beautifully.
But and like I say to anyone who asks me now, how does it go? I just say the way that an STI should, because that's exactly how I reckon it goes now.
Yep, I agree.
Funnily enough, changing the cooling system helped too.
Yes. Yep.
You know, put in a Phoenix radiator and a new expansion tank and some hoses, changing all the hoses.
Yep.
Clean hoses, clean lines.
Well,
you know,
I mean, you got to
fresh
realise
cooling.
it's 2001. 2001 was 20 years ago, bro. So,
Yeah.
like, as much as to you and me, this is a very modern car, because it is to me still. Like, I still remember them coming out.
100%.
But they're not. They're 20 years old. They can drink.
They can. That's right.
I love the Scoobies, eh? They're just such a great all-rounder.
Funny, yeah, they are.
You know what I mean?
100%, bro. And it's funny that you say that because I don't know if you remember, but right at the start, before I even got a Subi,
Yep.
I wanted an Evo.
Yes, I remember well. I worked really hard at that campaign.
You actually did. You're the one that persuaded me in the end to go Subi.
Yes.
And bro, I've got to thank you for that because I love my Subis. I love the 555 RA that I had. You know, my 99 555 RA. That was just I just fell in love with Subis with that car.
It was such a beautiful car.
Oh man,
and we had so many good times in those cars.
We did have good times.
I had what was it? It was a 92 RS RA Legacy.
Yeah,
no, it was
bro.
an 89. And then Dave bought, what was it, a 98?
No, it was a 99.
99.
Yep. RA, WRX.
Yeah, RA Limited. It was cool, man.
Yeah, it was
So we
lovely.
both had the short ratio gearboxes, and it was so much fun.
Performance package, like the suspension and the steering and everything, man, just unreal. Turned on a dime, no matter what speed you do.
Yep.
In fact, that car, like, I was scared at first when I was driving it, you know, because of the power that it had behind it, and I had to learn how to drive it properly.
Yes.
And it was fun. That was an awesome experience. So yeah, my love for Evos, I still remember the Evo 4RS is the one that I really wanted to get.
Yes.
And then you took me around and nah bro, Subis are cheaper, and you know, you still get the same performance power and everything else. They're much the same.
At the time they were cheaper.
They were.
I think they still are. I think it's a production thing. I think there was so many more Subarus than Evos.
Must have been.
I think that's actually what it is.
Yeah.
Man, WRX STI. I've driven lots of these, but I don't think I've ever driven this shape. Version 7, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this
the
is
blob eye or the bug eye,
which is the same as Morris's, right?
Yep. Indeed, it is.
Yeah. Oh yes. Holy
like it, bro.
Oh man.
Yeah, every time I drive it, I'm smiling, but I'm also just, hopefully everything's good. Because I've just spent so much time, research, money, effort. I've done all the work myself.
Yep.
I've bought all the parts and sourced them all myself.
Yep.
Some come from Australia. And like I said, I just wanted to run factory STI, which and I've never been in another STI before. And that's the other thing I noticed actually, like the differences between the the WRX RA99 to a 2001 STI.
Yep.
When I first bought this car,
Yep.
I thought that the RA was faster
It probably was.
at acceleration and everything.
It probably was.
But now,
When you first got it.
yeah. But now I reckon either on par or this one's actually got a little bit more.
This is faster, bro.
a little bit more.
This is faster.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
That felt quicker because of the short ratio.
Yeah.
And you got through the gears
And you're
quicker.
just there all of a sudden.
Yep.
Yeah.
But this is faster. I'm adamant.
That GFB bypass valve has made a huge difference with that accelerator control, like
Okay.
getting power straight back to the accelerator.
Yep.
Which you'll feel because you've got instant power.
Yep.
That's got to do a lot to do with that.
So that's your boost controller.
No, that was with the bypass valve. So taking the
Okay.
factory bypass valve out and putting that other one in, it gives you that instant responsive feedback to the accelerator. Because I've done no tuning either.
Well, it's factory computer, obviously, right?
That's right. So
Yep.
I'm still running the factory math, which is why I didn't want to go above the 15 pound. Once you start to go above that 15 pound, the computer's not registered to chuck the air and the fuel in.
Yep.
That's what actually swayed me into buying it. To be fair,
Yep, that's fair.
was the paint job because
Yep.
it stood out. It wasn't a blue. It wasn't a black.
Because it is a factory colour, though, eh?
And
Which
it
is really uncommon.
When I looked into it, that
Yep.
this is a factory Subaru colour.
Driving a WRX STI on the forgotten highway, like really, how much better does life have to get? Hey,
Yeah, boy. Doesn't get much better than this. I don't think.
Does it, eh?
We're probably sort of at the pinnacle now.
I think so. I think we're peaked. That's it.
You're doing a good job driving, mate. Thank you.
Thanks, man. I'm really enjoying it.
You're the second person to drive my car.
Yeah, it's funny how you got to drive differently to when we were kids, eh? When we were kids, you'd think about the apex of the corner and not running wide. Now we're like, where are all the bumps?
Yeah.
And then I'll decide how I'll drive around the corner.
Yeah. And that's because the roads didn't have those bumps when we were
No,
kids.
because our cars were way lower back then. We were all on cut springs.
Exactly, mate. Why an STI? Wow, that's an interesting question. A good question though, a fantastic question because it leads into a lot of other things. You see, it leads into a bigger story.
Let's go.
Well, as we sort of touched in the car, I'd talked about loving Evos and wanting to have a sport. Well, I actually started with me wanting to have a sports car. Okay, so let's go right back to the beginning. So I wanted to have a sports car, an affordable sports car.
What did you own at the time?
I actually had a Falcon, a Ford Falcon. It was an XR6. It was a Ute. Manual, 5-speed. It was actually a really good car.
It was.
But I wanted to have something that was a little bit nimbler and a little bit more sporty than what that Falcon was offering. And as I said, I was looking at Evos because they interest me, and I've always been into the sort of the rally spec sort of vehicles, being coming from that generation of having it on TV all the time. You know, on a Sunday morning or a Sunday afternoon, you'd have the rally sports would be on and be awesome.
Yeah, the Colin McRae's.
Absolutely,
and
bro.
Yeah.
Yep. And I recall those times as a kid, and looking forward to watching the rally sports. So obviously that brought my mind to possibly looking at a rally spec car. So Evos were the first ones that popped up for me, and I wanted the Evo 4 RS. That's what I was looking at.
Yep.
And then you sort of got into my ear about Subis, which is awesome, because you had one. And I can still recall clear as day you bringing that car home, and I was intoxicated by the rumble, bro. Oh. I just fell in love with the sound of that car that you brought. I just loved it. So yeah, I went Subi.
Yep.
And went 555 RA, and it was, and I never turned back, bro. And when I did sell that car, I was determined that I was going to get another one.
Yep. You bought your car from memory from the Waikato?
Yeah.
It was a fresh import?
It was indeed.
It had just been complied in New Zealand?
100%, yeah.
You got it home, and within, what was it, a month?
Yeah, within 4 weeks.
It was really quick. Yeah.
Within 4 weeks,
yep.
The valve snapped on cylinder 3. The whole process and the diagnosis from the mechanic saying that it was definitely the valve had snapped due to a cam belt issue.
And took the turbo out on its way through, right?
Yeah, it took the turbo out, and the mechanic wasn't going to do any work either unless I had a new clutch, because he said the clutch was worn out as well. So that left me with a bit of a predicament.
That really adds to the build, doesn't it? A new turbo and a new clutch. Those are two jobs in themselves.
Yeah, bro.
But I suppose, especially the clutch, it pays to do while you're in there, but it's still money, right?
Yeah, it is still money, bro.
Yep.
But while you're in there, while you got the engine out, the clutch is worn, let's replace it. So I did that. I sourced a new turbo, I sourced a new clutch. In the meantime, I had come to a conclusion that the guy I'd bought the car from was going to supply a second-hand rebuilt EJ 207.
Sure.
And then that showed up at the mechanics just out of the blue all of a sudden. And he goes, you want to use it? And so I'm left with no real mechanical experience or knowledge.
Yep.
I'm looking at a fucking long block on a fucking crate.
Yeah.
With water all through it, and all, because it looks like it's been sitting out or sitting somewhere, and whereas we got rained on, and I'm just like, man. And he goes, well, and I said, I'll put it on the car. Be about another month, man, before he said, come down here. I went down there, he turned the key, and she fired up, bro.
Yeah. Since then, what have you done? Other than because your car's relatively factory.
Yeah, man.
But you've done some really, I think, tasteful supporting mods to it. So what have you done? Give us a quick wander through.
The first one was the boost controller, the GFB boost controller, so that I could get it running 14 pound or 14.7 rather than 8. The next thing I went and did was I put a new silicon intake. I got rid of the factory one. And then it was the bypass valve, so a new GFB bypass valve, so that I could get more response at the accelerator. There's a dual catch can set up in here. So the primary catch can catches most of the oil coming straight off the crankcase and then back into the turbo, and then the secondary one grabs the air from the intercooler and purifies it and sends it back in front of the turbo, and by doing that, in this particular model, that's 100% catch can setup, because it's got a double head.
Of course.
Not a single head.
2 heads, better than one, right?
2 heads better than one, so they say. So, and the next thing was the cooling system after all of that. So a brand new Phoenix aluminium radiator, new aluminium expansion tank, replaced the radiator hoses and the auxiliary hoses, which is all your hoses for your turbo and your intercooler. Radiator shroud as well.
That pairing one?
Yeah, which is also, and I didn't realise that would be a performance mod, but what it does is all the cool air coming in the front of your grille there gets forced up to your bonnet normally and just sort of disperses. But that shroud grabs it and feeds it across your radiator.
Of all the mods you've done to it, what's your favourite one?
Oh, that's a good question. That is a real good question. My favourite mod, because I love them all, because all of them together have made the car work the way it works. But my favourite mod, I guess, would have to be the blow-off valve or the bypass valve in conjunction with the boost controller. So it's two separate things, but they're working together to do one thing, So I think that would be my favourite mod. Okay, so what's next is I still have 2 things that it's funny how you say I've told myself that's it so many times, but I have got 2 other things that I want to do. Obviously the rear springs still need to go in. And the last thing that I want to do is the cylinder 4 cooling mod, which I have here. I do have the mod here. It's just a matter of getting the time to...
So an 18-year-old buys this exact car. What's your piece of advice to him? He bought it the way you bought it. What's your advice to him?
Oh, the way that I bought it?
Yeah.
My advice would be take it to a mechanic and let them have a Subaru mechanic, someone who actually knows Subarus.
Sure.
And has had a lot of experience working with them and knows them in and out. I'd say take one to, unless either you know a good mechanic or you know someone who knows them, take it there first, bro, and let them have a listen to the engine, because that like you talked about the ticking sound, and I knew that I could hear that ticking sound, and that ticking sound was the valve kissing the piston, man. And if I'd known that, I would have done something about it straight away. So someone with that experience would know that. That's all I could say is take it to someone who's got Subaru experience and say, hey man, I've just bought this Subi, what do you think about it? You know?
Yep. What car is parked in this driveway right now if you could get absolutely anything in the world to use how we use it now?
I'd almost stick with this car.
Yep.
To be fair.
Cool.
To use it the way we use it now.
Yeah,
I would say this car for sure,
Yep.
bro.
I mean, that's a fantastic answer.
100%.
Thank you for letting me drive your car today.
Awesome, bro.
Thoroughly enjoyed it, like
Cool.
more than I thought I would, and this was awesome. It's way quicker than I thought it would be.
Cool, man.
That's the main thing. I expected the balance, I expected the pedals all felt right and everything
Yeah.
felt neat. It just had more go than I
Yeah.
thought, and I do wonder if that controller has a lot to do with it. Because
Possibly.
how it just goes 15 pounds, and
Yeah.
it's 15 pounds from, it feels like nothing,
Yeah.
all the way through.
Yeah, and it just keeps hitting that mark
Yep.
and won't go past it. It's really good. Yeah.
Thanks, man. That was
No,
awesome.
thank you very much. Awesome, brother. Mean.